I know a mother who has done a sublime job of loving and teaching her children. No small thing. Lots of mistakes, sure, but she stays willing to learn, which has made all the difference. They have a family meeting every day. Imagine that. Every big business has meetings every day, but as families, we just go, we'll just wing it, and then we do poorly. She followed the instructions of the parenting training, which you've seen, instead of merely watching the training. Lots of people just watch it, but they don't follow the instructions in it. And those meetings, family meetings, set the tone for the rest of the day, every day. One of her customs at the meetings is to have the kids share something from the day before where they succeeded or failed to implement what in their family they call the 3 pillars of happiness: to feel loved, and to be loving, and to be responsible. Lots of talk about that in the parenting training. One morning, her 12-year-old son, Trey, volunteered to talk, when it was his turn, about a failure. His younger sister had gotten up in the morning before him and gone to the bathroom where she was loudly blowing her nose like a goose. And Trey was instantly annoyed and had terrible thoughts about marching in there and smacking her in the face. That's the immediate reaction. At the meeting, he admitted that his anger was unloving and that he had failed to feel loving toward his sister. Keep in mind that in this family, they have learned that to fail at something is not the same as failing at being a human being. So failure is just a mistake. It's just information. It's something we learn from. It's not a source of shame, which it is in most families. This would have been an excellent piece of truth-telling all by itself from the 12-year-old. I mean, beautiful. If Trey had said nothing, nobody would ever have known about his internal emotional mistake. But this 12-year-old boy simply admitted it outright. He was vulnerable in a completely voluntary way. Nobody made him. That's heroic stuff. Most adults can't do that, like ever. They have to be caught. And even then, they'll argue and fight. But Mom didn't stop teaching after he told the truth. She was wise enough to realize that admitting mistakes is certainly difficult and almost always good. But sometimes we need to see ourselves recovering from a stumble and learning a lesson. And that needs to be pointed out to us, because often when we do something right, we don't realize we did it. Just like we often don't realize we made a mistake. So Mom said to Trey, "That's very honest of you." That's not praise, it's information. And she said, "But I think it's incomplete." Trey said, "I don't understand." Mom said, "You were lying there in your bed, irritated at your sister, but then what did you do?" And Trey said, "Well, I remembered you telling us at family meetings that blaming other people for us being angry is kind of stupid. And I remembered that I'm on a probationary period," this is where consequences come in, "where I don't get to blow up at anybody or be unkind even once for 2 weeks before I can qualify to join that basketball league that I told you about." So he remembered that, not to blow up, because he remembered, if I blow up, I lose basketball. That's the whole purpose of a consequence. Now he's 12, that's a delayed consequence. That wouldn't work if he were 4. Mom said, "What did you do next? I know you felt angry, but what did you do?" Trey said, "Well, nothing. I figured it wasn't worth fussing at her about, so I closed my eyes for a few minutes and sort of fell asleep until the alarm went off." So Mom continues, "So when you got irritated at the noise, you didn't get out of bed and kill her." Kids love it when you make jokes about mistakes. Trey smiled and he said, "No, I didn't kill her." Smart, using humor. Mom says, "So that sounds more like a victory than a failure story. You already know that when something inconveniences you, getting angry is kind of an automatic reaction that gives you a rush of power for a few seconds. Often you can't help that, But what matters is what you do after those few seconds. And it sounds like you got over it nicely. He did. And Mom identified the victory. Nice work. Nice work, Mom. Nice work, Trey. Kids need to hear when they do something well, not praise, not "you're such a good boy for doing that." No, they don't need that. Just pointing out when they get what matters and how it works better. It's information. This mom is truly loving and teaching her child. This is big stuff.